DDG episode 16. Sweet 16. We can drive now. My name is Dave Hunt, and I'm joined by Michael Swick.
How's it going?
And we have our first ever guest. And this guest is a giant pain in the ass, but he's a friend of ours. Josh Langford.
Well, why don't you fire me?
Let's save that for the end of the episode.
Okay. There's a good idea. Yeah, use me up and then fire me. Okay.
So we are Digital Days Gaming. We are a weekly podcast that releases every Thursday, and not on Twitch this week because we have some embargoed content to talk about, but you can follow us on Twitch for our live stream, so twitch.tv/digitaldaysgaming. You can also subscribe to the podcast at www.digitaldaysgaming.com or on any of your podcast services. If there's a podcast service that you use and we're not on, tweet at Michael, and he will fix that problem for you. But I think we have it all covered.
Yeah, pretty much everything but Pandora for whatever reason.
You son of a bitch.
I know.
So, but yes, please leave us a review if you are able to. If you are getting the Patreon feed and you want to leave us a review on something else, you can do that as well. But again, you can just follow us through all the stuff that normally you would. I know we might have a bunch of new listeners to the first time in a while, so just the website, digitaldaysgaming.com, twitch.tv/digitaldaysgaming, YouTube, just search Digital Days Gaming, and Facebook, so facebook.com/Digital Days Gaming, and then just search Digital Days Gaming for the group, and you can join the group. There's about 80 of us in there, and there's a really cool conversations happening in there on a regular basis. And we are going to jump right into it. So, Michael, are we going to hit these questions first, or are we going to hit this news first?
No, I think we should explain who Josh is for people that are unfamiliar
that's a good
with.
point. I'm not used to having a guest. It's been a long time.
Yeah. So Josh is our former editor / co-host from PS Nation. We did probably like 30 plus episodes of PS Nation together, maybe 50.
Did we?
We did a full year with you, at least.
It was
almost
a full year. So then that's at least 50.
50 episodes, yeah.
Yeah, we did a year. We did an E3. And so yeah, it probably was 60 or 65 episodes.
60, yeah, at least. Yeah.
So people that have been following me and Dave for a while have heard you before, but there are people that may not have heard you before. So we just wanted to bring you on because you are like one of our demanded guests. People want to know what's going on with Josh Langford. So what the hell have you been up to, man? It's been a while since your departure.
It's been a while. Yeah. It's funny. Once I was out of the podcasting business, I realized that I had all kinds of time on my hands. Like all kinds of time on my hands. But I put all that time into family and a new job and everything. And I don't play games as much as I did because I don't have to. That's one of the sweetest things about it, where I don't sit down in front of a PlayStation or an Xbox or anything and go, fuck, I really want to play this, but I have to play this because I need to get this review done, and I should probably play this because we're going to talk about it next week. And I don't have any of that anymore. It's such a friggin' weight lifted off my shoulders.
We don't really have that right now either. So we can
awesome.
We can kind of play what we want to play, and we can focus on what we want to focus on, because like we're still early on enough that we're not getting a ton of review stuff. It's starting to we can see some of it starting to manifest now, but even then, just like communicating with some of the PR companies and setting the expectation of how we're going to cover this, because I don't know if you know this, Josh, and you might appreciate this, but Digital Days Gaming has no written content.
That's perfect.
Yeah. The only thing written is our descriptions for the episode. But you talk about like time, like not only were you on the weekly podcast, but you were also editing reviews probably like almost every day, or at least more than 5 a week at a certain point, which would eat up a lot of time.
Days when I had the time, and then when I didn't have time all week, I would literally sit down, wake up Saturday morning, and do it all frickin' day until evening. but you know, that's stuff that was behind the scenes that nobody saw. You know, they just see when things get posted. They don't know how long all that takes. I was also, well, I'm not even going to get into that. There was other stuff that
I
was
hear that
happening.
a lot.
Yeah.
No, I'll say it. You were in the process of redoing the entire site.
I was.
And
yeah.
he's not going to say it, but you were in the process of changing that entire site.
Yeah.
But
which I had gotten the go ahead. Yes, do that and go ahead. And I started working on it, and I was really getting deep into it, and then I wasn't. So
yes.
Yeah, so that happened.
Because Michael and I saw PS Nation 2.0, bits and pieces of it.
Bits and pieces, yeah. It was a major work in progress, and it is what it is. What am I gonna do?
Yeah. Shit happens.
So I mean, we'll have a handful of new listeners, but like, so just quickly, like, kind of go through your background of like how you got into the gaming sphere perspective a little bit. Just, I mean, nothing. I know it could be in a whole episode by itself.
Yeah.
But
Well, all right. So I'm old, and I had an Atari 2600 when I was a kid. My cousins had an Apple IIe, or a 2, just a 2, maybe, like the original one. So those were my first games that I ever played, and I just kind of went from there, all the way till I started on an Xbox podcast, because we were all part of this community, and that was the only console that was untouched at the time, and PS Nation was part of that community, and Joel was on it with me. If everybody remembers Joel from PS Nation, and he does, oh my gosh, my mind is blank.
A Band of Gamers.
Band of Gamers, yes. I was on that damn thing.
Yeah.
I love it. That's actually a fun podcast, because they do music and games. But yeah, Joel and I were on the Xbox podcast with this other guy. He kind of wigged out, and we ended up on PS Nation randomly. And I was there forever.
I mean, you were there the whole time I was there, and I was there at least 6 years.
Other than Glenn, I was the longest tenured host on that podcast. It was around 10 years or something like that. Somewhere around there. But yeah, it's fucking crazy. So, but now I'm not. And now I'm living my life. Got the kids, hanging out, having fun.
So one of our first questions that popped up right away when we said we were going to be talking to you is if somebody wants to know what college Mason's going to.
Yeah. He's 7 years old. Fuck's sake. He's not going anywhere yet.
Well, here, I haven't talked to you in a little while, but I'll blow your mind a little bit because I think you'll remember when he was born. Owen's 4.
Jeez. Yeah, well, Zoe's 4 too.
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah, they were born right around the same time.
Yeah.
Well, Gray Malkin is 16, and Reggie, the other cat, is like 12.
Yeah.
So what have you? So since you've been, it's almost been a year. Since
Has it really?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
we're approaching a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did Days Gone come? That's how I remember.
It was right around Easter. It was around Easter, so it's almost been a year. So it's been like 10 months.
Holy shit.
So what have you been doing from a gaming perspective at all? Like, I know you said you cut way back, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know that you always talked about like you enjoyed like opening up or just grabbing the Switch and laying down and playing for half an hour before going to bed.
Oh yeah, I still do that. Funny thing is, like recently, what I'll do is I'll turn on the Switch and I'll go right into the shop and go into the deals and scroll through, and I have a huge wish list, and I'll go to the wish list and just scroll down and look for what's on sale, because it'll show you in the wish list. It'll show you like this is 50% off, 90% off, 99% off. You know, Switch has the absurd sales.
Oh, it's like the indie library now, man. So
yeah. And the sales, you can get stuff at like 90% off half the time. So I've been buying all kinds of shit and all kinds of dumb shit. I bought Solitaire on there, and of course I'm playing the fuck out of that.
Well, because it's like a game. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It's a simple thing, but you're never done and go to bed. You're like, fuck. All right, just one more.
Yeah.
We got to talk indie games later and what we're playing and watching, because there's
Yeah.
like 2 indie games that I feel like you probably already own or don't know are available.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot on the Switch. I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 online on the Xbox and the PlayStation because I had to get my $2 million, yo. Did you guys hear about
playing
that?
online games is crazy.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about that?
No.
They were
What
doing,
is this?
you can still get $1 million if you go on, like, I don't know, maybe by today.
Hey! Don't demean our highly factual show. Don't do it. Don't be spreading conspiracy theory jitterish.
No, what they were doing is it was a thank you to the community. And in the first week, like the first week of February, if you went online, you got $1 million dropped into your online account. And then the second week of February, you go online again and you get another $1 million dropped into your account. So that happened on the PlayStation, and it popped up immediately, and it said it everywhere. And I went onto the Xbox and didn't say anything. Nothing happened. I thought it was like everywhere. Maybe it still is. Because when you go on, it says it'll be put in your bank in 72 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But literally, when I went online for the PlayStation, it was like, boom, there's $1 million.
Nice.
The Xbox, I don't know if it's going to pop up or not, but I was messing around with that for a little bit. The casino's pretty cool. I was playing blackjack in the casino.
Nice.
And they have a giant wheel in there every single day. When you go in and spin, you get one spin of the wheel. It's free, and every single thing on there is a winner. So that's their way to drag you in there every day to at least do something in there.
It's like a crack addiction. Like
yeah. Yeah, but I've been messing around with the Xbox and the PlayStation, and it's usually, Zoe will want to watch me play something, or like we were playing the Adventure Time game the other night, which is buggy as fuck. Oh, it's a shame because it's really cool, but it's really got a lot of bugs. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Every now and then when I get the chance, and it's usually with the kids.
Have you been paying any attention to next-gen news at all?
Off and on. I mean, I'm not really on social media. I'm almost never. Twitter's the only thing I was ever on, and I'm almost never on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you go through fits and starts. I see you like.
He logs on, drops like 4 gifts, and logs off for a month.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm aware of all the idiots saying this is what the PlayStation 5 is going to look like. That's a dev kit, you assholes. It never looks like the dev kit. So but they're all, doing their renders saying this is it, our exclusive on what it's going to look like.
So let's hit a couple hot buttons that I would really like to, and Michael, chime in anytime you want, but there's a couple things that sparked in my head I would really like to get his thoughts on quickly. So the new Xbox is called the Xbox Series X. Yeah. It's rumored to have 2 separate SKUs at launch. Mm-hmm. What's your first thought with that?
I think the PlayStation's going to end up doing the same thing.
Okay.
The name is kind of dumb, but at the same time, I see where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
They're just making it like Windows. It's now just Xbox, and this one is the Series X, and the next one is going to be the Series M and the Series, whatever. They're going to play it off that way because their whole naming scheme has been fucked up forever because they could not put out an Xbox 2 when Sony was putting out a PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So they just started right back at the beginning.
Yep.
And then the other one that's jumping in my head right away is they've announced that there will be no Xbox Series X exclusive games for the first 18 to 24 months.
I saw that.
So pretty much what we're understanding that to mean is we obviously know that all these studios that they've purchased which now there's another question I would like to talk to you about. But the multiple studios that they've purchased are going to make games that are going to come out on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC for at least the first year and a half to 2 years. So from your almost semi-casual perspective now, do you see any reason to purchase a Series X at launch?
So when they say, all right, maybe I missed that. What I had heard, or what I had gleaned from my skimming headlines.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the first time that Michael and I have got to bounce off somebody that maybe isn't playing as much, you know.
Okay, yeah. So what I took that to mean was they were not going to be making any exclusive games for the Xbox for like a year. I didn't think that meant there will be games that are only on Xbox but also on PC.
So Halo,
I thought no first party
Halo 6 is holiday 2020.
Okay.
And it'll work on Xbox One, and it'll work on Series X.
Okay.
And PC.
Okay.
And it will be on Game Pass day one.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Hellblade 2.
I got Game Pass for like the next 6 years.
Yeah. Hellblade.
Those deals.
Yeah. Hellblade 2 from newly acquired Ninja Theory, now owned by Microsoft.
Is that multi-platform?
No.
No, it's
okay.
Well, it depends on what you consider multi-platform, because PC is another platform.
Well, yeah, I don't consider PC because my PC is like 12 years old and I don't give a shit.
Yeah, so Microsoft purchased Ninja Theory. They own them, and they have now essentially funded their development of Hellblade 2 because they own them.
Yeah.
So, but Hellblade 2, our understanding right now is Hellblade 2 will work on Xbox One, Series X, and PC.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know what? They have been so far behind this generation. They've not won. They've come in third place every generation. Honestly, if you look at the numbers,
when you do worldwide numbers,
they've come in third place every single generation, and the other half of Microsoft has been trying to kill the Xbox off for years, but they've been able to hold on and been able to keep it going. I mean, I've got no problem with that. It's funny because Sony is like Horizon is coming to PC, and
allegedly,
I think it is.
Enough people confirmed it. It's almost a guarantee.
Yeah. Nintendo, who was it? One of their games, like Bayonetta 2. No, it wasn't Bayonetta 2. It was another game that was a Nintendo-funded exclusive.
Wonderful 101 is coming.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kickstarting, yeah.
So now all these things are starting to happen where these games are, people are loosening up a bit and the games are making their way to other platforms and stuff. I don't really see Uncharted ever going anywhere. I see Sony holding on to their big name, big money exclusives. It's interesting that they went with Horizon. I mean, it's a new IP, and there is no sequel to it, at least that we know of.
The only thing I can think of why they chose Horizon is because that engine is what was used for Death Stranding, and Death Stranding is getting a PC port. So the work was done, and they were probably like, actually, this might be pretty easy to just port this over now that we did the work for Death Stranding.
Yeah, and their deal with Kojima's studio is that I think that Kojima owns the IP for Death Stranding, but Sony is the publisher, and Sony then gets the revenue from the PC sales as well.
Yeah, when it goes on the Epic Store in April or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and I would assume that would be the same thing. Somebody will probably, if not Sony, will publish Horizon on PC, and the money will funnel to Sony, which could be just their long-term future proofing themselves. Which is what I think Xbox is doing as well with getting all the studios that they have, purchasing all the studios that they have to make it so that the focus for Xbox, and we've been talking about this for months since we launched DDG, but the focus for Xbox is their software. The hardware is just a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, software and services is their goal. I mean, that's why Phil Spencer last week he was making headlines of, he said his competition isn't PlayStation, Nintendo, it's Google and Amazon. He's looking at the billions, why, you know, the other kind of manufacturers are just looking at the millions. He's looking at everybody in the world, and the way to do that is software and services, and that's why Project xCloud works pretty well. I've messed around with that. The Game Pass on PC is like really important to this podcast, at least, because that's why we started to play PC games again. It's just like that's what their plan is, and Sony will have to change.
They all need those new revenue streams, and that's why they're all branching out, because and Sony's been able to sit back on it and really take sort of a more insular approach. Like we don't really need to, because
they've had must plays.
Yeah, we've had must plays, and they had the PlayStation 4 is what now? Is that now the second highest selling console of all time, or close to it?
Something like that. Yeah, it's definitely approaching like top 3 territory.
It's over 104 million. It's over 100 million.
Yeah.
So,
which is insane. I mean, when you've got those kind of numbers, you don't have to worry about, oh, well, let's make our games multi-platform. Where when you've got Microsoft's numbers, you have to get the money from anywhere you can.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't
put it out on
yeah,
two consoles and a PC.
Yeah, we haven't seen a number for Xbox One in a long time, and the rumored numbers are still only barely getting over 50 mil.
Yeah.
So Sony's got them 2-1.
When the 360 came out and it was all over the PS3, it was like dominating the PS3 in North America. Those were the numbers you saw every single week, every single month. They were crowing about it. And when the Xbox One came out, they were crowing about it until suddenly Sony just took off like a shot, and suddenly you did not hear any Xbox numbers ever again. Because they'll be happy to tell you everything when they're in the lead, but when they start falling behind, they shut up quick. So
here's no, go on. Sorry.
No, I've got nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna ask, since you aren't really keeping up with like the latest greatest, you're kind of just playing whatever you want. Are you interested in next gen consoles? Are you still a day one console buyer for new stuff?
Most likely. I mean, I'll get it just to get it, because it's gonna have not like I have a 4K TV, but it's gonna have a 4K drive in it. You know.
You hope.
No, it will. I'm sure it will. No, they said it will. They already
the
did.
Xbox will, and I think Cerny
PS5. They said
PS5 will.
Yeah, they said it's going to have it, and it's going to have the solid state drives in the back.
Yep.
That's where things are going to get interesting, because that whatever that was, that patent that everybody saw, that everybody thought, oh, is this new cartridges for a portable? I think that might be.
Okay. Is he going to say the swappability that I was talking about? You said I was crazy? You said I was crazy, Michael? Yeah. He's going to say you could swap your GPUs.
No, not GPUs. I think that's going to be swappable drives, basically.
Oh, darn it.
Because the solid state drives, that's great. But you've seen just on the PS4.
Yeah. 2 terabytes isn't enough.
Drive. 2 terabytes is never enough. Yeah. And you know how expensive a solid state drive is.
See, I was thinking they're
going to sell swappable solid state drives that are PlayStation branded, that work specially. Just pop it in, pop it out, and it's beautiful. I
was thinking 2 things that next gen might do, and one of them is, instead of releasing like PS5 Pro, that they would just release a swappable component that you could, like, essentially like a GPU that you could put a different. I know. Yeah, and then
this would be too risky.
And then the other one that I think is going to happen, and this one I truly believe, is that like CD Projekt Red has come out and said they have no next gen plans for Cyberpunk 2077. Like they've delayed it till September, and people thought they were delaying it till next gen, and I just feel like, similar to how the Pro works in terms of, and all the Ubisoft games that are coming out later this year are going to do this as well, is that the game is going to be a PS4 disc that you put in a PS5, and it's just automatically going to look and run better.
It probably will, because on all those discs, they've been doing this for years, where they'll put 4K assets and then they downsample them to run on the system.
Well, the Borderlands Game of the Year edition actually released a 4K texture pack that you had to go into the store and get. It was free, but you had to go get it. So, like, for me, like, I didn't have any use for it because I don't have a 4K display. But somebody else, they could go get it and their game would run better. But I think that that's just going to kind of happen with next gen, like, automatically, because there's, like, Ubisoft delayed, like, Watch Dogs Legion. They haven't actually even dated it. And they showed, like, 3 or 4 brand new games at E3 last year. And then they announced, like, a month ago that they were pushing all that stuff back. And they just said it's delayed inevitably. And people are like, oh, they're just going to move it to next gen completely. And I don't think they are with 100 million PlayStations out there. PlayStation 4s, exactly. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And that's why the end of a console generation can be fun, because, you know, you've got developers dropping things. They all know how to work the system. They all know that there's that many people out there with these systems. And I mean, God of War 2 came out while the PS3 had already, after the PS3 had launched.
And was struggling sales-wise, and it's like, man, if it really had some software like God of War 2, it would do significantly better.
Well, I mean, still on par to come out on current-gen consoles, Josh. That's not out yet. And keep in mind that these new systems are believed to be coming out Halloween-ish time, Thanksgiving time this year. We don't have Last of Us 2 yet. We don't have Cyberpunk. We don't have Avengers, Ghost of Tsushima. Like, there is a lot of games that they're fitting into these next 7 months.
But those were the ones. Like I was saying, Tsushima, I was like, I could see that going to next gen.
Now, even in their last couple state of plays, they said, they said summer, and like now it's like I don't think we have it. We don't have a date for Tsushima yet, but it's like August or September. They're saying, right, or something.
They just said summer, so everyone's going with.
Think about it,
August.
Like think about, because I was here for the PS4 launch. I remember that. There were a handful of games that were on the PS3, and at launch or within a couple months of launch,
the $10 upgrade,
the PS4 version.
Yeah, and they let you do the $10 upgrade. Yeah,
Ubisoft, like Assassin's Creed 4.
You know? Black Flag. Yep.
Black Flag, and there were several games like that where
Battlefield 4.
Yeah, I expect things like that to happen.
But see, I don't think that you're going to have an upgrade, Josh. I just think it's just going to work with the backward compatibility, because that was the problem, is that PS3 games didn't work on PS4.
Yeah.
But now PS4 will work on PS5 and Xbox One will work on Series X. It'll just, and that's what I'm saying, is that you
just put it in and you'll get the upgrades right there, and
it'll just do it
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's possible. It's entirely possible. I really want, and I know it may be the pipe dream, but I thought I saw something somewhere, because I do skim through news and just skim through headlines. I rarely ever dig deeper at this point. But I thought I saw that Sony had done had filed some kind of patent to do essentially like hardware, like PlayStation on a chip. Like a PS3 on a chip and a PS2 on a chip, where the idea is that, oh my gosh, they can put a PS3, PS2, PS1 all into the system.
There's a lot of rumors that the backward compatibility is going to go all the way back.
It should.
And
I just don't see how. Like, and I get it at this point in time that you're trying to like appease the consumer, but like, do you just make it so your PS1 disc works? And then where do you does that mean that PS1 game all of a sudden now has a digital version that I can buy if I didn't own it?
No, because what they were talking about, this was another thing that I think Cerny said or has hinted about. This is what I get for not being around all this time, and just hearing things randomly. That they've been working on software that will, and I thought they had patents for this as well, where they can take older generation games. You can put a PS2 disc in, and it will update the visuals on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll like smooth out edges. There's like some software patents, and then there's like hardware patents they did for that. It's funny though, it's just because like Ubisoft in their financials call, also mention like, oh, and then the systems are fully backwards compatible, but they wouldn't say PS4 or Xbox, but they made sure to say fully compatible. And then other financial calls are like, oh yeah, we should see extra money through like backwards compatibility as well.
But my
So
problem
enough
is,
people
where
are
does that
saying-
extra money come from? Because I think the consumer expectation is, and Josh is a perfect example of this. Like, how many PS2 games do you have on your shelf there, Josh?
Like 600.
Okay, so and I have none. Okay,
At least.
So I have none. Okay, so now from this perspective of PS5 comes out and it has this ability to access this library, but you have to have a disc.
Yeah, which is good for the people that have the discs.
But there's no
Yes and
money
no,
there.
because
There's no money there.
PlayStation Now is where your money is.
Yeah, it gives someone like Josh a reason to buy the next gen console because he has a huge library of games, and it's like, oh fuck it, I can get it a big box. Because Josh probably, this is what he says, I do, probably doesn't have his PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4 hooked up to his TV right now. He probably has a couple of those in a box. Of course.
Well, the PS1 not.
Yeah.
But the PS2 plays the PS1 stuff,
But,
so I do.
But if you were told, hey, the PS5, all of that stuff works, your disc works, you're going to be like, cool, I could put that shit in a box and put one thing under my TV, and that's a reason for him to buy.
And that's fine, and I agree with that, but it's only if my PS Now subscription or whatever other service they're going to do gives me access to the same 600 games that he can access to with a disc.
It won't be that because they have to rework licenses for those 600 games, and there's like over 2,000.
But wouldn't they have to rework a license to make the game look better?
No. So most likely it'll be like upscaling that you get when you put a DVD in a Blu-ray player, where it just upscales the resolution. It's not gonna change the visuals significantly. It's just gonna be an upscale, smooth it out so it looks good on it.
I just think from a consumer standpoint, it's a slap in the face that because Josh collected games better than I did, that he has a better library than I do, and I can't play those games now.
But that's the same thing of just like, oh, I've spent 99 cents to get a cape in Destiny, and you didn't. Like you had to earn it. Like that's the same thing. It's just like because Josh has those games, and
but that cape was always accessible.
And those discs are always accessible. You just have to go find them.
Yeah, the discs are. You can go into there's used game stores everywhere.
Yeah.
Go to GameStop when they go out of business next year and buy everything at their fire sale, man.
The real money from this is when they do renegotiate licenses to get digital copies of games.
Yeah.
On there. Money. And then if you do that and you want to sell like external SSDs, you're going to fill those fuckers up real fast if you buy a bunch of digital copies of all your PS1, PS2, PSP, PS4 games.
Well, I mean, the PS1, they're not going to be more than 650 megs,
No, I know, but like in terms of like if they go crazy and put that all there and there's flash sales on classic games every week, you easily will burn through like a hard drive, depending on how big the externals will be for it. Especially
my PS4, my 8 terabyte hard drive and the 2 terabyte internal, half my shit isn't downloaded because I've got no room on either of them at this point. It's fucking ridiculous.
10 terabytes of content and he doesn't.
I
got more than 10 terabytes of content. That's the problem.
Yeah, I have 2 terabyte internal on my PS4 and a 4 terabyte external. They're full, and I only have 200 of the 400 games that I own on there.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Crazy. It is.
And then imagine if they renegotiate licenses to get a bunch of PS1, PS2, PS3 games on there.
See, I like the idea, though. I like the idea, if this is what happens, that I can take my PS1 disc and pop it in and play it, my PS2 disc and pop it in and play it. I would love if this full backward compatibility idea includes PSP. And I know they can't really include the Vita. They could include some of the games on the Vita, but
they would have to just do the whitelist of the Vita TV games.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There are some games that you can't do because of the controls.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
but PSP doesn't have that problem because PSP is essentially a screen slapped on a DualShock.
Yeah. They would just have to
a mono shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's possible.
On a controller, damn it. I don't miss your autocorrectiveness, but you're good.
But the thing is, like, they were, and it's funny that Patapon 2 finally just came out.
It's a Greg Miller project.
It's weird that got dropped finally, because when I was sitting with the guy, I don't know how many E3s ago that was.
3.
And he was showing me Patapon and Loco Roco, and we were talking about it, and I was like, this is amazing and how upscaled and beautiful it is. And he's like, literally, we put one guy on it and he's got it done in a day. And he's like, it's not that hard to do.
But nobody bought him.
That's the problem. Yeah. And that was the same thing with PS2. Remember, they did the PS2 classics,
and
everybody was
nobody
excited,
bought them.
And half of them were upscaled, like GTA San Andreas.
No, they did. Like
the
they did exactly what
12th version I bought.
Yeah, but they did exactly what the consumer wanted, and they said, "I want trophies. I want upscaling." They did all of it, and it didn't sell.
But here's the thing: they did the work already in terms of the technology to get the games running.
But it didn't sell.
No, it didn't sell. But you also spent all that R&D to get that technology running. You might as well just slap it in a new one, because the R&D is what costs the most money. Yeah. Typically. So you already have that work done.
I just don't want that. I just hope that's not their core focus at launch. And I know it, but my concern is, like, Josh, like, and I'm not sitting there saying that they have to do anything. Like, they obviously they know what they're doing. They sold 100 million PS4s. They know what they're doing, and Xbox is on the right track with what they're doing. But we are 7 months or 8 months away from a launching of a next gen, and I only know of one game coming to next gen.
Well, they also don't want to shit on the current gen. I mean, the sales have slowed down. They have all those games coming out. They're being super strategic, because they're also waiting for Microsoft to announce the price.
That's the rumor too. That's the rumor too. Yeah. Like they
they're doing that.
They're playing. And we talked about it last week, Michael and I. They're playing a game of chicken. Who's gonna swerve first?
They are. and Microsoft is going to E3, and PlayStation is not. Microsoft will probably announce it there, may or may not give a price, and then Sony will come out a week later and go, "Yeah, ours is $100 cheaper." You know, that's what they're waiting for. But I think I like this better, though, because I don't like, you show things off too early and people shit all over it.
You show things off too early, you get Drive Club.
You show things off too early, and you have the Killzone fiasco and Lair and all these other things, where everybody saw Killzone, which one was it? Killzone 2, and said, "Oh my gosh, this is the best game ever." And Sony didn't clarify, well, this is just running on not really what we're going to use, but what we're aiming to use. And then it didn't come, when it came out, it didn't quite look like that, and everybody shit all over it,
Yeah, the Watch Dogs fiasco too.
Yeah.
What they were showing Watch Dogs. And
yeah. Or, I mean, what they should do is what NBA 2K does every single year. Just take last year's stuff and take away all the sweat and lighting and use that picture. And then for the next gen one, show the one with sweat and lighting on it. Because literally that's what they do every single year when they do their comparison shots. It's really, really funny. You should take a look at it. But I don't know. They'll come out with something good.
All right. You got anything else for him, Michael?
No, we'll get into a couple questions later on. But I think that's all the next gen stuff.
Yeah, we've got a few.
For Josh.
I really was curious on his perspective of the knowledge that he has of it now, moving into the more semi-casual, of what he's paying attention to, or what's becoming relevant enough that it's actually like getting to his eyes. Because he's not looking for it now. You're not seeking the information out. I'm assuming you probably did little to no prep for the show because it's just us.
Exactly.
But here's the sad reality: is every week Josh sits his two kids down and then does a podcast that isn't recorded or goes out anywhere, where he just talks about video games at them, not with them, at them.
Yeah.
So he's prepped all this.
He's trying to make the
But
new
he's like,
he's trying to make the new hobby kids.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, I don't know what's going on in news today, so I saw that backwards compatible news and then sold 100 million copies.
You know, if you guys want World of Tanks talk, just bring my son on, because he knows that game backward and forward. It's
he's moved on. He's moved on from Minecraft.
Holy shit, dude! He's a master at World of Tanks. It's ridiculous.
Awesome. All right,
So
a couple news things. This will be kind of cool for Josh as well. So Rod Ferguson leaves the Coalition for Blizzard. So he was working on. Rod Ferguson was one of the lead developers on Gears, on the Gears series, and now he's moving his efforts to Diablo. Right, Michael?
Yeah, he's gonna help them work on the next Diablo game. So he's been with Microsoft and Epic on and off since the 90s, and he was with Epic, and when Microsoft bought Gears of War from Epic, he kind of joined them a couple years later and was going to be like the head of that studio. And he was the head of that studio, but like he was going to be the face and a creative force behind Gears of War. Well, the last couple Gears of War games have been kind of mixed or just haven't hit that well. And now he's moving on to Blizzard, who could probably use a little bit of help, but Blizzard's in a weird spot right now where it seems like that long Activision takeover is finally getting into Blizzard enough. It's a long process, and he's joining them to hopefully straighten the ship a little bit for Blizzard, who are just kind of in a transition period right now. And it's
Blizzard is doing everything in their power to be like, yeah, Activision owns us, but they're just the money. Like, we're still us.
Yeah.
That's what they've always said, but it doesn't seem that way anymore.
But I think they're trying to right now, like the last couple of months, like the things that they've been doing, they're trying to sit there and say, hey, like, okay, like they're corporate. That's the corporate part, but this is who we are. It's kind of working a little bit. We still make
games.
Yeah.
But this is just like a big deal for Blizzard, because it shows that they're super serious about Diablo. They revealed Diablo 4 at BlizzCon, said it was like going back to its roots. You're getting a respected creator or like, you know, a name in the industry to now just spearhead that during his transition. I don't know what this means for Gears of War. Coalition is the Gears of War studio, so they'll continue to make Gears of War games. They kind of started a new trilogy with 5. So, or with 4, 5. I forget exactly which one starts a new trilogy. Yeah.
But I mean, they got that Gears Pop game too. That's like on the top of your list.
Yes, they do have Funko Pop Gears, which I think already came out. So I don't know what this means for the future.
Dead eyes, man.
Oh man, see, I hate Funko Pops too. Dave loves them.
I have a couple of them. I don't love them.
You have 6. That's more than a couple.
Oh my gosh, that's too many.
They don't. Yeah. All of them don't have eyes. They have masks on.
And he keeps them in the box too.
It looks cool. Shut your mouth. You got a freaking skateboard mounted to your wall. What kind of dumbass does that? Does it even have wheels?
Custom skateboard with PlayStation characters.
Does it have wheels?
No, because it's a custom
painted
skateboard.
It's just a board. It's not even a skateboard. It's a board.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's got all the
man.
PS1.
You gotta hang that deck on the wall, man.
Yeah, it's art.
Yeah.
Where's your art?
In my Funko box. Okay.
Yeah, that's sad. That's so sad.
Yes, one of 18 million.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what's happening with the Gears of War. I have no idea what this means for the future Gears of War, other than we'll probably get a Gears of War game in 2 years. But it's
also fascinating to me that they're taking somebody from a third-person shooter perspective, which is all Gears has been, into a looter game.
Yeah. Like when you said that, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what he's going to bring to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll be interesting to see if he does have a big impact on it, like if there are significant changes. I mean, like they said, they're going back to their roots, but
But I mean, like Gears,
I don't know.
even as a shooter, has never really been known as like a RPG or MMO depth shooter.
No.
Like there's not.
No.
It's just a bro shooter.
Yeah.
Like, and Diablo has been a game about builds and loots and farming, and like, so there's like those two things just aren't going together. It's on the heels of, and we talked about it last week, Josh, like one of the other, like this guy's been there for a long time, and then I can't remember his name, Michael, but the guy that just left Rockstar.
Oh, Hauser, Dan
Yeah.
Hauser.
Yeah.
And he's not changing. He's just walking away from gaming.
Yeah.
For now. So
with his billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And residuals for life.
Yeah.
So
because his brother is the other owner of.
It's just interesting because it's a concern. Like, it's even something that I've thought about, like from a personal perspective of like, like I'm 36 years old, like starting, we just started DDG, and it's like the time frame of how long it's going to go for. Like, am I going to be talking about video games from this perspective in 13 years when I'm 49, 50 years old? Like it got...
Hey. Josh is just looking at you right now, like, what the fuck?
No, it's not a bad thing, but like, I mean, like, again, Josh, if if all that crap didn't go down that went down, like, how long do you think that like everybody's like, oh, like Rockstar's in trouble, this guy's leaving, like he was there for 30 years or 25 years, like that's
there from the start.
That's a long time. Like my dad worked for the government for 30 years and he retired. Yeah.
But that's the thing. If you're having fun, which we were, if you're having fun, you don't see an end to it.
No, yeah, I agree.
When you're not having fun anymore, then it's like, all right, I think it's time for a change.
Sometimes that change is forced upon you, and it turns out to be a good thing.
Turns out to be a great thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I do miss, it was fun, but the way my life is right now, there's no way I could do this every week. There's no way. Yeah,
but we do it. We find time. But yeah, just the transition from doing that to doing this is like completely different, and that's what motivates us to keep going, because it's different and like we control it. So we have that motivation. Who knows? Maybe in like 5-10 years, we'll be like, oh man, we need to do something else to change things up. But yeah, change is definitely needed for some things. So I can totally see why this guy who's been working with Microsoft and Epic and then just wanted to go for a change, and he gets a new genre, goes to a safe company, because Activision isn't going to go anywhere.
No, I get it totally. I mean, we heard about the Naughty Dog stuff of them like not wanting, they wanted to do something that was in a completely different direction, but still kind of at their roots, and we got Last of Us. So like, I could see the, like, okay, like Microsoft going to them, okay, well, your next project's Gears 6. Like, oh damn, okay. Like,
yeah.
So, all right, you got the next piece?
Yeah, I'll get the downer piece. So the coronavirus is going to affect production for games. Obviously, this is like the least important thing to worry about with this virus going around. But I always like to bring up news stories when like world events actually affect the gaming world. And Nintendo is the first company to come out and said, due to the like a lot of factories in China being shut down and the coronavirus making its way to Japan, they're going to have to delay some things. So they just announced the Animal Crossing Switch. That is, the production for that is going to have to be delayed because a lot of the factories, Foxconn in particular, their factories have been shut down for like a couple weeks, and they're going to be shut down for, I think, one more week. And then Ring Fit Adventure, they can't keep up with the supply and demand for that. And then the coronavirus happens, which means Ring Fit Adventure is going to have delays in other countries because of the coronavirus. And there's a lot of rumors right now that depending on how much worse the coronavirus gets, this will most likely play a part in like the next gen console launches, depending on if the coronavirus can, they can get it under control and it won't affect production too much, or companies like Microsoft and Sony would need to move production of their next gen consoles to other countries and take the costs that happen with that just to launch new consoles, which would like be a tough move for those companies to do financially, but it might have to come to that depending on if this continues to get worse. And every time you hear about the coronavirus, the numbers keep going higher, and the numbers reported most likely aren't the actual numbers because you don't want to make panic. But now it's starting to affect like the video game world in terms of hardware. And if it continues, we might not see next gen consoles this holiday at like a worst case scenario for that particular sector of the world, which is kind of crazy, kind of scary. But yeah, we're starting to see the effects of that. Like the Animal Crossing bundle was just announced like 2-3 weeks ago, and then like 2 weeks later, they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to delay those because we're just not gonna be able to make them in time or make enough in time with these issues happening with like factories. But yeah, there's coronavirus stuff. Any thoughts, guys?
This is how every horror movie starts, man.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, we just watched,
it's World War Z origin story or something.
Yeah, with Mason, we just watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which the end of the movie is basically the start of the coronavirus. I'm like, all right, get ready. The apes are taking over.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy when you hear about like the spreading and like the numbers are like just wild, and then you'll just there's in the US, Canada, there's been some like reports of people coming over and having the coronavirus, but it hasn't really affected a lot of people outside of like Asia, and now we're starting to see some ways it could affect us, even if it's something as dumb as like our Animal Crossing box won't be here on time. But those are the slow things or the small things that you will start to see from an outbreak like this. And, how much worse it will get for other countries, we'll find out. But this is like the little things, the unimportant things that get affected by something like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, just thought that was an interesting news story to bring up, especially someone like me. I was excited for the Animal Crossing Switch. I was debating on the Animal Crossing Switch.
I'm in the market to get a Switch, and so it's like
you still don't have one.
No,
he doesn't,
yet.
right?
So.
And we're not locked into a single platform here. Like he's messing
I'm
up.
locked into a wallet with 3 kids.
Yeah, that'll do.
Sell those Funko Pops.
One of them is in college, for the record, and the other one's going to college.
He'd have to sell like 60 Funko Pops to be able to afford a Joy-Con.
See, what he does is he just sends his kids out to destroy the other Funko Pops that he has. So he has the last Funko Pop.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Do that. No,
and then
so
he's set.
Yeah, get the new Switch, the the updated one with the better battery life.
I know that much. So.
Yeah.
No, Dave's gonna fuck up and he's gonna get the old one.
No, because I was already looking at the. No, that's not gonna happen because I don't want something called a Switch Lite that doesn't switch. I don't. My hands. I don't want a handheld. I'm past. I want a controller and a TV. I'm sure it's great to to play solitaire on, but I'm gonna be playing like Zelda.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm actually going to stream it on our channel,
Hey, I bought a new Switch dock. Stream's coming this week.
I'd say 80% of my Switch play, 85% is portable.
Because it's in your bedroom.
It's everywhere.
Where is your Switch right now?
It is right across the room here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play my Switch mostly handheld too, which is why I was like practicing, or not practicing. I was like setting up the other Switch dock through like Streamlabs, and then I had to play with like my Power 8 controller, and I'm just like, oh fuck, I can't play Switch games with a controller because I'm just used to the Joy-Cons on the side, and it felt so weird. To where I almost feel like before I stream, I'm like, let me play this game for a half hour before I start the stream, because playing with a normal D-pad and analog stick combination is just so foreign to me.
Well, can't you just take the Joy-Cons and put them on that like thing and then play? Like, don't they snap into a holder?
They do,
face?
but it's that still feels weird. Like
it's the same button.
Like, no, but it's weird.
Your hand, you're holding it differently at that. Yeah. It's very different. But I've got a dock on every TV because Toys R Us went out of business.
Oh, so did you buy official Nintendo docks?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because Toys R Us went out of business.
Yeah.
So as the prices were dropping, I waited till they hit a point, and I was like, yes, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. All right, so
I got a third-party dock, an Insignia dock, for my Switch, where I was very scared of using it because I'm just like, it's third-party as fuck. But I'm only using it for streaming purposes, so it won't be on there for more than an hour at a time. Like I would never leave my Switch on it.
Yeah.
Can't be that bad.
All right, so now we're gonna mess with Josh for a little bit, and we're gonna like literally make it seem like he hasn't left. So we're gonna talk about a news story that was somewhat relevant when he was around. So Anthem 2.0 is real.
Is real.
Wow.
So go ahead.
Go take this away. No, if you want to go for it.
You know that I was playing Anthem near the end of your tenure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I hated it, right?
Yep.
All right, so the studio, after about...
It wasn't Destiny.
No. The studio, after about 4 months of trying to patch it, kind of gave up and went silent. They had a roadmap, and they literally came out publicly and said, yeah, you know that thing that we released that said what we were going to do for the next 6 months, we're throwing it away, and we're not going to talk to you until we're ready to talk to you. And... they still apparently aren't ready to talk to us, but their website felt otherwise.
Yeah, Casey Hudson, one of the heads of BioWare, the general manager, I believe is his official term, said they are going back to the drawing board with Anthem. They're still going to do events in the meantime, but they're basically going to work on all the fundamentals. They're going to work on a more satisfying loot experience, better long-term progression, a more fulfilling end game. And then there's going to be also other fundamental things being done to the game, including potential new worlds for the game. And this was reported on in like November, December, of a complete breakdown of the game, that they're just going to just scratch it and then kind of rebuild the game from the ground up, which is why when Anthem was going out on sale for $5, I should have fucking bought it.
Yeah, you should still just go buy it because I'm sure it's cheap. So
yeah, and they didn't get into the details other than that they're going to work on those things that are very big things to work on. And they said, hey, while we're working on this, there's still going to be events, store refreshes, of course, and past seasonal events.
store refreshes. Yep. The microtransaction store is still going to be there, guys. It's okay.
Yeah, don't worry. And then seasonal events will still happen. Why they're doing this work to basically make Anthem 2.0.
I didn't even know they had seasonal events in Anthem.
They do. It was snowing in the winter. So.
Oh yeah, wow.
So Josh, since we last talked, like that we've heard like just crazy things about BioWare and people leaving BioWare and how it sounds like EA was like just literally like just putting the screws to them to make this game how EA wanted them to make it and not what they wanted to make it. And now it sounds like BioWare is like, hey, look, we did everything you told us to do, and this is what we got.
Yeah.
The vagueness with this and the lack of a roadmap scares me that this is just them silently saying, bye guys.
You can't access that post anymore either. They took it down.
No, it's back up.
Oh, okay.
They were getting so much traffic that it killed their blog site.
Oh.
It's just, I have a feeling this is them just quietly being like, all right, we're going to go dark again, guys, but don't worry, we are fucking doing something. And then the next thing we hear from BioWare is going to be Dragon Age 4. And then we're like, what about Anthem? And they're like, yeah.
Do you see this Dragon Age over here? It's really pretty.
Yeah. And I just don't know what's gonna happen with it. I have a feeling it's gonna disappear.
KOTOR 3.
That's what. Yeah, you know what?
There's
you just go
rumors
on a
about
greatest hits
that.
tour.
There's rumors about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
There you go.
Okay, so that's the bit for the news that we got into an hour into the show.
There you go.
I blame Josh. It's all his fault. So,
Yep.
so
Isn't everything? That's what I've heard.
So, what we're playing and watching. I guess Josh, maybe top 3 things, top 4 things that have your attention right now.
Wow. NHL.
Okay.
Oh, crap. What was the name of the new? Shit.
Use your words. It's an audio podcast. Use your words.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking.
We can help you.
The new horror game from.
Man and Manon.
No. The little one from Ben Rivers.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't help you with that. I know what you're talking
What's
about.
the name of that game? Yeah. That one's fun. It's creepy fun. The kids wanted to see that, and I'm like, I don't know. It's a bit creepy. I cannot remember the name of it to save my life. So there was that.
You played that during Extra Life, didn't you?
I did. I played a lot of it during Extra
Worse
Life.
than death.
Home horror?
No.
Worse than death.
Home
Yeah,
was his first one.
Worse than death.
is what it
okay.
is. Yeah.
Sorry, I went to his Twitter profile and was trying to
go
read it. Yeah.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I just jumped on Josh's Twitter. You don't tweet that often, so it's very helpful.
Yeah. There you go. The funny thing is, like, I went to look at that on the Switch, and on the Nintendo shop page on the internet, it says, developed by, and it says insert name here. And it's like two or three places it says insert name here. And I took a screenshot and I sent it to him. I sent him a DM and I was like, dude, you might want to get on somebody at Nintendo about this. He's like, what the fuck? So I don't know if that's been fixed yet or not. But yeah, somebody at Nintendo done fucked up. I've been playing NHL, which is weird. Like I decided I wanted to just do a playoff, and settings were the same as my settings have always been for all these games. I think there was a bug in the game because all the teams were set and the Flyers weren't there, and I'm like, fuck that, and I took a team out and put the Flyers in, and I went 16-0. And it wasn't even close. Like, my team was averaging 6.8 goals a game, and we were averaging like 2.02 against. So it got a little absurd there. But I played the whole thing out just to see if I could actually do it. And yeah, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I haven't been playing a whole lot. And beyond that, in the arcade 1-up games.
Mm-hmm.
What
about you been watching anything or any new series?
Yeah, a lot, but I don't even know what I could get into. Okay. I mean, I don't have a lot of time. But when I do, what's weird? Like when I have had time, I've been watching Deep Space Nine again. Like I went Star Trek. Well, I haven't watched it in forever, and I went back to the beginning, and I'm literally going all the way through it again for some reason. I don't know why.
I have to ask you.
Yeah.
Have you watched Lego Masters?
I watched the UK version of it a couple months ago with the kids.
Okay.
And I know that they did. We saw the preview for it. I was like, holy shit, it's coming to the US, kids. There's a version of it coming here now. So I haven't watched it yet. I have it available. Yes.
Really good. Will Arnett is fantastic for it. It's so good with him as the host.
The UK version was really cool. It was actually a lot of fun, and they built some crazy stuff in that one.
Yeah, it's only one episode in, so they did like a theme park stuff, but like it hooked me, and I don't even give a shit about Legos that much, but I was just like, oh fuck, this is like really good, and Will Arnett, I can watch him do anything.
So I'm curious because you asking him this question sparked a thing for me to look at a news story that I got. Josh, were you a fan, and Michael, you as well, of Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so are you aware that Mythic Quest show came out on Apple TV?
I heard about it. Yes, and I heard that. What?
That's the same. Are you the
same guys?
The same guys, and it's
Charlie Day.
Okay.
And
and it's a video. It's a video game development centric show.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw somewhere.
There's been a lot of ads. There's been a lot of ads the last couple of days.
Okay, so somewhere today, I think I saw somebody say this is Silicon Valley for indie development.
So, I'm gonna try a 7-day free trial of Apple TV, and because I think it's only like 9 episodes, so I'm sure I can get those done in the 7 days. Yeah, because I don't have Apple TV, so
it might be a weekly
thing. How do you not have Apple TV? Isn't it free for like everybody at this point?
I don't know. I haven't really even looked into it. So,
like, if you have an Apple device, it's free. If you have, I think Verizon doesn't Verizon give it to you?
I don't have Verizon, and the only Apple device is my son and my daughter's phones, not mine.
No, but do they have Apple Care on it? I think it's Apple Care people have.
Well, my daughter just bought AirPods, and she bought Apple Care, so literally today.
So you might be able to get it through her her Apple Care account.
I'll have to look at that. So.
Yeah,
but it's just something. It's as you guys have seen, I've had some time with Ubisoft over the last couple of weeks. So, and it's being Ubisoft is in partnership with this. So.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, what about you?
So because I bought the Switch dock and I've been testing out to make sure I can stream from it. I've been playing. Josh, did you pick up Super Blood Hockey on the Switch?
No, I did not.
It was super cheap at one point. Yeah,
and I came close, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, because the last one, the one that was on the PS4, that was supposed to be like that, was it's gonna be this cool thing. It ended up being a terrible game.
This one, I wouldn't say this is a great game if you can pick it up on sale. Like, I think when it went on sale, it was like $4, and it's pretty dark with the humor, but the gameplay's difficult and it's pretty fun, and it's very simplistic, 16-bit hockey style or 8-bit hockey, and the GM mode or whatever, the franchise mode, where it's just like, okay, you gotta like give your prisoners, because they're all prisoners that you just like put on your team, and you have to make sure they're working out, you have to give them steroids and like make sure you're feeding them, exercising them, and all that like micromanagement stuff I love. So I've just been like diving into the micromanagement. The game is actually pretty difficult. It tells you like there's a certain way to play it if you want to be successful in like scoring a goals. It's like you better pass the puck often enough. You can't just go straight shot to the goalie. You have to make sure you're moving the puck around. Basic fundamental things that at least when I see like a pixel art game that's like a throwback, I kind of play it simplistically. It's like, no, there's like some nuances and depth to it in order to be successful at it. So I've been playing that a lot. It's a game I plan to stream. And then another game, Josh, do you remember Earth Night? These are games that I've talked about pretty frequently the last like month or two. But Earth Night, that came out on the Switch. And it came out on PS4 just like a couple weeks ago. I've been replaying that because I want to stream that. I think I prefer it on the Switch. I've seen it on the PS4, but I've just kind of just broke myself to where the Switch is almost my preferred console at this point.
Me too.
Just because of the portability. Yeah, just the portability of just like, oh, you know what? Sarah's playing The Witcher. I'm just gonna take the Switch and play that.
I was playing The Witcher on the Switch. I was playing Black Flag on the Switch.
Yeah, I can't do that to The Witcher. The Witcher's too pretty to put on the Switch, but it works. It works. So I've been playing Earth Knight and then Super KO Crush still. And I kind of just been doing what you do, where I just go to the deals page. And then when I find a game that's like less than $5 that doesn't look like it's a cash in, I end up just picking it up. So I'm just constantly, like, every time they update that store, I'm just looking at other Switch games to where I've been just turning my PS4 off. I don't even put my PS4 in rest mode anymore, like, because I just don't care if the updates hit it. To where even when I do want to play on the PS4, fuck, I can't play because all the updates.
Yeah, I will say. Then he complains that he wanted to play COD and he couldn't because there was 2 patches.
Yeah.
Then you pick up your Switch and you play while it's updating. While
Yeah,
the
but then at
PS4 is
that-
updating.
But then at that point in time, he
like-
gets so much into what he was playing on the Switch that he forgot that he was going to play the updated game.
Yeah, I gotta make sure I do my dailies for Tetris 99 and shit, and it's just like it's just constantly on the Switch. And I haven't even got any of the big boy games like Zelda or Mario Odyssey. Like, I've just been doing like bite-sized indie games. So
Well,
I've just been.
Did you pick up? So 2 games that I saw at some indie thing in New York, like 4 years ago, whenever it was. They were supposed to only be coming to PC, and the one was built for the Switch, and it just came out within the past 6 or 8 months. Finally, the one was Graveyard Keeper.
I do have that. I have that on PC.
It was an early access for a little while on PC,
Switch.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to the guy that made that for a while. He's a pretty cool guy, but he made that whole thing, I think, pretty much by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is Track Her, a dual hand disaster.
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
That is a fucked up game. That was another one guy did this, and your left hand has almost like a shmup going on. Your right hand has sort of an exploration thing going on, and you have to control
That sounds
both of them.
terrible.
It's insane. You think that, but once you try it and once you get into it and get a handle on it, it's insane that you're going back and forth, because you can leave the one side for a little bit and go do the other one.
Okay.
But you have to
not too long before you get
manage both of
overran.
them.
Yeah, okay.
You have to manage both of them, and it's fucking crazy. It's a good game, and it was actually, I spotted it and I was like, oh my gosh, there it is, it's finally here. And it was on sale, I guess, because I only look at the sale page. Maybe it's been out for 2 years.
That's what happened with Super Blood Hockey. I didn't know it came out in like April of last year, but it was on sale for $4. So I was like, oh, let me pick this up. I didn't hear about this, and it's like, shit, keep getting me with that.
I do pop into the new releases though as much as I can, because I'll spot like the arcade archives.
Mm-hmm.
Like they pulled up.
It's because Josh has been gone long enough that maybe those games that he saw might be coming out.
Yeah.
But like the track and field is on the arcade archives now. But even with that, like I immediately just favorite the thing or put it on the wish list, so that I can go right to my wish list and just skim down the wish list and see what's on sale.
Josh wants the load a high feature. Wish list load a high.
Yeah, that'd be great. Problem with the PlayStation's load a high is that they don't take the sale price.
Right.
Load a high.
Yep.
They take the original price.
So it's all avatars.
So then everything is all fucked up, and you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's worth
and then the last thing I've been playing is just Ring Fit Adventure. Almost every night, just getting super into that constantly.
I have to get that.
Especially Sarah's been like using it way more than me. And she's been beating my high scores to where like there's certain, and then that's enough motivation for me of just like, oh, I got to get my high score back, and just having some scores to where I can't get them. I can't get the scores, and it's just like driving me crazy. So I'm just like, all right, I gotta work this out every night and see if I can get this high score on this arm workout.
Michael's gonna be buff chasing a high score.
Yeah. Well, and then another thing that cracked me up is Up Up Down Down, which is a YouTube show or a YouTube channel that's run by Xavier Woods from the New Day Wrestling. And he and a bunch of other wrestlers have been playing Ring Fit and posting their high scores that they get in Ring Fit Adventure. And I'm doing the exercise and I'm like, okay, so I beat that wrestler's high score. Let me see if I get that wrestler's high score.
Well, what might be even scarier is that Sarah's beating all of those scores.
No, she is. She's like halfway in the middle of like all these professional wrestlers with their scores, and it's like, what the fuck? I gotta step up.
How much is that? It's like $60-$70, something like that.
70, I think I got it for. Yeah. So it wasn't too bad.
But that really comes with all the peripherals, though, right? Like there's peripherals. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a Pilates ring, the game, and then the band that goes on your leg. But like you and your kids would probably have a blast with it. Just like the mini games are like really cute and adorable, and actually give you a workout. The Pilates ring isn't too bad. Like the Pilates ring will basically like test your strength before you start the game fully, and then that kind of sets like what you're gonna do for that session, like the max strength on the ring. And then the light RPG story mode is like, it's cute and it really gets you sweating if you crank up the difficulty. And then it teaches you how to stretch, and it'll make sure you're doing it properly, which is like the thing that I always fucking skip when I work out is like the stretch, and doing the stretch and learning the different stretches you can do has been really helpful. But that's it for me playing, and I've just been watching random anime, and I started to read the Harry Potter books. Sarah wanted me to read them. I never really read them.
Never read them.
So
I've never read or seen the movies. So
the books are fantastic.
Yeah, they're really good. So when I was a kid, they had just come out. Like when I was in the 4th grade, they came out. Like
Holy
the first
shit.
one came out.
Yeah, I'm on my 3rd job and I'm reading them. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. When I was in the 4th grade, they came out, and we were reading it as a class. But then some kids' parents complained.
So Josh, just for the record, that Michael
witchcraft.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly. But just for the record, Michael's introduction to Harry Potter was a teacher reading the book to him. Just so you're aware.
Holy shit!
No, it wasn't a teacher reading. It was like, hey guys, I have a book we're all gonna read as a class.
I was just messing with Josh a little bit.
Yes. And
he's old.
Some parents threw a fit and said, "Oh, it's satanic. It's devil worshipping witchcraft." So then we stopped reading it, and the compromise was like the teacher then was like, "Okay, not everyone's going to read it. I'll just read a chapter here and there as like a compromise." And then the parents complained against that, and then we just couldn't read it. And then I had a couple teachers that were like, "You cannot have a Harry Potter book in school because of all the other kids complaining." So then I just kind of fell off of it.
Really?
Yes. And I was Chicago Public School. You wouldn't think that was a thing. But it totally wasn't.
Depends on where you are in the country.
Yeah. It's crazy though. So like I just kind of fell off of it, and Sarah loves the books. So she's like, "Oh, you read them," and I've been reading them. And after we finish a book, we watch the movie, kind of criticizing the movie because the book's better every time.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is. So I'm on the 3rd book right now. Just started it. It's like 2 chapters in. So going through Harry Potter right now in my 30s. So
that's cool.
Still good.
So wait,
still holds up.
So you read the entire book and then watch the movie right after it?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That's what I was doing I had seen Game of Thrones like the first couple seasons, and then I read the books, and I was like, it made it a lot easier that way, because I was like, oh, now I can keep track of all these 62 characters that are in the first 10 pages of the book.
Yeah. And then it just never happened. You're still waiting.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's it for playing, watching, and reading.
Nice.
All right.
Dave?
So for me, it's been very light. I had a corporate visit at work, and then right after that, I had inventory. And any of my free time was doing a little bit of prep work for my Division 2 coverage that's on the site. It's on the podcast feed and on YouTube now. So I'm not going to go too crazy into that. I'll cover it on my spotlight, in our spotlight, just a little bit. But I have been playing more of Horizon Zero Dawn. I hit level 18. So I started playing that about 2 weeks ago, Josh, 2.5 weeks ago.
Nice.
on stream. So I've been streaming it on our Twitch channel, and people have been kind of helping me out and hanging out a little bit. I did one of like the first cauldrons, I think they're called. That thing was hard. Clearing out that cauldron and overriding that, like kind of like descending into the mountains and deep into the caves. So just trying to get a good understanding of like leveling up the bow and using the right mods, and really it's a little bit more strategic than I was expecting it to be in terms of like where to hit the mechs or the dinosaurs, and what to use on them and when to use it. And also still kind of like I run into situations sometimes where I'm trying to figure out, am I fighting against bandits, am I fighting against machines, am I fighting against both? Like, so the story is progressing for me, and even the people on the stream comment and stuff like that too. It's a gorgeous looking game. Like, it's a really, really good looking game. And even as old as it is now, quote unquote, it's still on par with probably some of the best looking stuff on PlayStation.
But that's one of the ones when I went to see the PS4 Pro reveal, they were showing us, they were like, yeah, all the 4K assets are already there.
Mm-hmm.
And we dumb it down for the regular PS4. So for the Pro, it's just there.
Right.
And they were like, look, and they would zoom in on all the different bits of all the creatures and everything, and all the lighting and all this stuff. It was insane to look at. Mm-hmm. And that was how many years ago?
Yeah. I didn't have a ton of time to watch anything. I kind of wish I would have caught some of these XFL games, because it sounds like they had a pretty good opening weekend. Like, I think the first number I heard for ABC was like 3.5 million people watched it on Saturday.
And 6 people were at the stadium, apparently, in New York.
I mean, it's probably not the smartest thing to put it in the NFL stadiums, but at the same time, they're already ready with, like, they're already built for a football field, and like Spears like, put it in a soccer stadium. Like, well, then you got to reline the fields, and so whatever deal that XFL was able to get, like, yeah, it sucks, but I mean, for the record, not very many people go to the football games in LA either. The NFL games.
That's true. Got 2 teams and not enough people for a single team,
right?
Really.
So, but it looks like it was intriguing in terms of like the kickoff changes and the extra point changes and the pace of play. Like, I think it kind of might be up your alley, Josh. I remember years ago, stuff you were complaining about is how long an NFL game took, of how actual action it was, and up until the 2-minute warning.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
you
said something crazy, like the game's on for 4 hours and it's only like 8.5 minutes of playtime or something.
13 minutes of playtime, whistle to whistle, in in the average NFL game. 13 minutes of actual action on the field.
So one of the things the XFL has is a up until the 2-minute warning, it has a 100% running clock.
Nice.
When they kick the ball off, neither team is allowed to move until the receiver catches the ball on the kickoff. And
That's
then when you score a touchdown, you have a choice of going for 1 point from the 3-yard line. You run a play, and from the 3-yard line, it's for 1 point. 2 points is from the 5, and 3 points is like from the 12 or the 15.
That's interesting.
So it seems like some of the stuff was, it appeared to be working. Obviously, it's week 1, and last year around this time when the AAFL came out, people were like, oh, this is going to work, and then a month later they went bankrupt.
So, it happened the first time the XFL happened.
It didn't go bankrupt, though.
The first XFL pretty much did. They had to close shop after one season, but it was like the first week the ratings were super high, and it was like, oh, this is going to be really good, and then it just plummeted every week, and then
there was a lot of gimmicks with the XFL, and it seemed the first time, and it seems like that Vince McMahon seems to have hired some of the correct people to have some longevity to this. The AAFL got bailed out by the Jacksonville Jaguars owner, to where he made them have enough money to play week 3, and then they couldn't fix the problem by like week 5 or whatever. So Vince McMahon has enough money to sustain this for multiple years if he chooses to. In terms of,
I think number is this season they'll lose 300,000, 325,000, and they hope that number will go down every year.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, even ABC was surprised by the ratings that it drew on the opening weekend. Now, yes, it's good. Is it going to go down? Yeah, it's going to go down because some people checked it out just to check it out. But
people didn't know it was happening.
Yeah, I was listening to some stuff too.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
I heard about it. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I was listening to some stuff too, and somebody brought up a good perspective though. Like, you'll leave, like ABC will be on a Saturday or something like that, or ESPN's on a Saturday or Sunday, and then all of a sudden the game is on, and you didn't realize it was on. Like it's a much bigger network than with the AAFL. You had to like dig to see, is it on CBS Sportsnet or whatever it was. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I didn't get a chance to catch any of it because I was at work counting stuff. So,
Wrong, apparently.
Yeah. No, for the good of the company. For the good of the company. But we're going to jump into some questions. These questions are sent to us using hashtag AskDDG. And this
No. Ask Digital Days. Ask DDG is a rapper hashtag, which I need to transition people to not use.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right. So Ask Digital Days. My bad. I think Maine did it. That's why. So this is going to be a Josh centric one. We're going to kind of rapid fire some of these.
Oh boy.
So
it's not that bad.
Stefan on Facebook writes, first of all, ask how he has been and what he's been up to, which we pretty much covered.
Yeah.
And then can you tell us what secret project he was working on in the last weeks of PS Nation, which I think he's hinted at that.
Has anything happened?
No. Yeah, no. I that was one of those things where I was like, "Ooh, now I got time," and I was going to do this other thing, and life and a new job took off, and I said, "All right, that's not happening. It's not anytime soon."
So, and then obviously the end part of the question, has anything happened with that? No.
No.
And then on Facebook, Maine Terry asks, what are the chances of you becoming a regular third chair on the show? I found our taste in games and our sons' ages were very closely aligned. And how many, and of the many opinions out there on games, yours was one that I valued the highest.
Oh, thanks, man. But yeah, not likely.
I think we might be lucky to get Josh on here once every 6 months.
I could do that.
Yeah, I was gonna try to I was gonna try to stretch it and say once a quarter, but that might be pushing. That might be pushing it. But
yeah, we'd have to see.
Yeah, what happened with this week, to be full disclosure for everybody. So like we had talked about, we knew that I was having some work schedule issues, and when talking to Josh a couple weeks ago, I was like, hey, so like when can this be possible? And he pretty much said this night or this night during the week are the times that it can happen, is what he told me.
Yeah.
And so then Michael and I decided that we were going to record on this day, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to text him and see what he says. And he said yes. So that's why he's on the show this week. This was not planned, months ago or anything like that. This was planned like 5 days ago. So
yeah, it just kind of happens.
And we still didn't know if he was going to show up on time tonight, which he didn't. So.
Well, I did, but I haven't turned this laptop on in like a year. So, I mean, what can I do?
You opened it up. My Days Gone reviews. They're ready for you to edit.
And then I joked on this question, but it was a legitimate question. Randy Pinnock asked, "It's been so long. What college is Mason in?"
So what is he thinking about? Where is he going this fall?
Obviously, he's going to go to George Mason University.
Yeah, I doubt it. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah. And then lastly on Twitter, Storm Lexi asked, "What Lego sets have you and the kids been building?"
Holy shit!
A year's worth of Lego to talk about, probably.
No,
wait. I got to follow up to that. Did you build the thing that you got for Christmas? Because didn't you get like a huge Star Wars ship for Christmas, or a Star Trek ship?
Oh, I got. Well, that was like a year ago.
But I know you hadn't built it though.
No, the Millennium Falcon, the $700 Millennium or $800 Millennium Falcon, whatever that was.
That's a no.
No. No, I can't. I wanted to. And that was a gift.
I know. Your problem was the first problem you said you didn't even know where you were going to put the damn thing if you did build it.
That's the problem.
Okay.
There's literally no place to put it. Arcade 1-Up. I want Pac-Man. There's like two or three other machines I want. There's literally no place to put them in this house. If I build that 4-foot long Millennium Falcon, there is no place to put it.
I can see you on camera, Josh. Behind you, there's a great place just to hang it off the ceiling. You'll be fine.
Yeah, that's not happening. No.
All right. So
That
what other
ceiling's not
have you
as
built?
high as
Have
you
you built
think.
anything?
I
know
we
that
built
for the record, I know that ceiling's
things.
not as high as you think. That we're because you forget how tall I am. I probably can't walk in your basement.
No, you can.
Okay.
It's not that low. But we got the Chinese New Year ones again this year.
Cool. Yeah. That was just a couple
we
weeks
didn't build
ago, right?
those two. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got them like right as Chinese New Year was happening, or right after is when they showed up, and I was like, it's too late to build them now. But
build them next year, maybe.
yeah. Well, I was talking to the kids because the boxes are still sitting up there, and I was saying maybe we just do what we do with our Christmas ones, build it all now, and then just put them in a crate, a box,
Then get them out as decorations. Yeah.
Take them out next Chinese New Year, because I don't know if I had done this when I was still on the podcast, but my poor wife, we took where her desk is.
Where her desk was.
Yeah, in that area behind her desk, well, like in front of her desk where she would have to walk to and sit, is an entire Lego city.
Okay.
That was built. With the
Josh's wife gets to be Godzilla when she goes to her desk.
pretty much, well, she can't go there anymore. You cannot pull the chair out because there's train tracks that were running right along there. There's a whole train system that runs around the city,
All right,
but then
you're gonna have to tweet a picture now.
I could do that.
Okay.
But it would need to be multiple pictures. It's the Lego Creator City modular city sets.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
there's
cool.
like the French restaurant, the pet shop, the detective thing, the bank, the movie theater. There's a whole bunch of them set up, and I put the street plates in, and then I had a park that I built, and I had this empty spot, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm racking my brain, like, what can I put in this odd random spot? And I thought, I grabbed a sand plate, like a sand colored plate, and built what looked like the foundation of a building going up, and made it into a construction site with like all the construction workers walking around. And I said to the kids, I was like, so now that we have this whole Chinese New Year, this gate thing and this whole area, when we're ready, I can just take the construction site out and drop it right in there and turn this whole area into Chinatown. So I've got ideas for it, but I don't know. My wife's put up with it for like almost 2 years now. I don't know how much longer she's gonna put up with it.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's kind of neat.
Yeah, that'll be things your kids will
got a whole
remember for
thing
a long
going on.
time, though. So.
Yeah.
And Josh, you'll be happy to know those are all the questions that we took
Hooray.
specifically for you. People might want more scandalous stuff, but like we're beyond that, so it doesn't really.
Yeah.
We're
matter.
just gonna keep moving forward. That's what we're gonna do.
There we go.
So.
Waiting for the setting you up for that. Nice you took it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just wanted to like have some fun questions for you instead of any like super serious bullshit.
That's cool.
Yeah, because
like
you people have been wanting you on the show like since day one. So we finally were able to accomplish that, and I didn't have to like bribe you with like a Stargate podcast or some shit.
Fuck, you mean I could have held out for that?
Yeah, you could've.
We have it
Shit.
it can be eventual. There's a tier on this thing that we have that we
Well,
do
you
bonus
know,
episodes.
I'm gonna be pretty busy for the next 6 to 8 years.
All right, so real quick, I just want to spotlight our and I say our because Michael helped with it, my wife helped with it, and I did some stuff. But our coverage of the Division 2 Warlords of New York, which is the newest expansion that's kicking off year 2 of Division 2. This is what I got.
They're back to New York.
Yeah. So
Oh.
in southern Manhattan. So
Lower Manhattan,
yep.
oh, right where I used to work.
Yeah, the two bridges, the civic centers, the tombs. So it's coming out on March 3rd. There is a special podcast that came out that's already on your feed when you're listening to this. It's the one right before this one. And that has an interview with Nick Skur, one of the producers at Ubisoft Leamington, that took some time with me while I was in San Francisco, and it has my impressions of the 2 hours of gameplay that I got with the content. It's a manhunt style expansion. There's a rogue agent you're chasing, and you're gonna go after his 4 lieutenants first. And as you take down his lieutenants, you get to take their skills and incorporate them into the game. So kind of like a Mega Man style thing, where you defeat a boss and you get its weapon. And then that will also give you the intel that you need to go after Aaron Keener and stop, the bioterroristic weapon approach that he is taking. So, long story short, it's more Division, which like I've mentioned in my impressions piece is not a bad thing, and it's Division 2 in New York. So it's some of the gameplay changes they made with Division 2 going back to New York. And it's also kicking off their seasonal content that they're going to release Warlords of New York on March 3rd. And then a week later, they're going to start releasing seasonal content, which will help with your, what to focus on in your end game. They're removing gear score from the game, and they're streamlining. They're doing an RPG streamline of the game, of making it more accessible and easier to maintain and manage. Not as much about your gear score or your skill build, making those things a little bit more easier to use based on player feedback. So there's going to be some UI changes to it, which the game desperately needed, with some UI changes in terms of like equipping gear and weapons and making it truly feel more powerful. They've got a lot of Destiny things going on in there with their SHD tech thing, like an infinite progression system they've tried to put in there, or that they're trying to put in there. Is this going to be enough to lure players back into signing into this game on a weekly basis? I can't say yet until it's live out there and moving around. But I think that they're tapping into the success of Division 1 by taking it back to New York, and still being able to make DC relevant. So there is, like I said, there is a special podcast dedicated to that. It's about 35 minutes long of just me talking Division 2. There's also 2 YouTube videos on our channel, youtube.com/digitaldaysgaming, where you can look at those. They're very similar to the stuff that's on the podcast. However, it is over the gameplay that I got to capture at the event. So you can see New York and see the mission, one of the missions that I went through. So please check that stuff out. Feedback on that is very important to us. If it's something that you guys really like to see, it is something that I would like to do some more of with other games. And I know Michael and I have talked about it, even with some stuff that he would be doing with maybe some indie focus that he's been looking on. And if you just want to hear him or I talk about a game for 15 or 20 minutes over footage, like, let us know. But please check that content out, even if you're not a huge fan of The Division, just because it's important for me to know what you guys think and how you feel it was structured. So that's very important to me, so I would love to see some feedback on that. So with that in mind, that is a wrap. One of our longer shows, which is to be expected with a third voice on the show. So thank you.
You're kicking me out already?
Yeah.
Yep, nope. Gotta let you go.
You've done exactly what you used to do, and it is almost 2:00 in the morning for me, Josh.
There we go. Yeah. Me too.
I know.
I gotta be up to take the kids to school.
Yeah, I don't. So.
This cat has been waiting for me to go to bed too. It's just been sitting right here. Let's go to bed.
Real quick, just a couple social recaps. So you can reach Josh. He won't pay attention, but you can reach Josh at PJFJosh on Twitter. You can
see it every once in a while.
You can hit up Michael at the first MJC 1ST. You can get myself at Good Dave Hunt, and the main account at Digital Days Pod, where all of our coverage and questions come from. And you can join the Facebook page, facebook.com/digitaldaysgaming. Search for the group. Just search for Digital Days Gaming, and
we have a group.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Facebook group.
Yeah. It'll send you.
It'd be nice if I was on Facebook.
You wouldn't, even if you were on Facebook, you wouldn't be in the group. It'll send you it'll send Michael and I a notification. You guys can, and it will approve you to join the group. Go ahead.
So why did you go all out? Why did you go Good Dave Hunt? Why not Good Dave Hunting?
it doesn't fit on Twitter. It doesn't fit on Twitter.
Oh, those assholes.
My PSN name is Good Dave Hunting.
There you go.
And my Xbox and Steam name is Good Dave Hunting. But just like Digital Days Gaming doesn't fit on Twitter, that's why it's Digital Days Pod.
Yep.
Twitter has a character limitation.
Lame.
Yep, I agree. So, because PSN name changes are real now too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And lastly, we have a Patreon. So patreon.com/digitaldaysgaming, where you can do the $1 tip jar, the $3 social access to the Discord channel, the $5 24 early access to the podcast, or the $7 tier for a bonus episode. If we get enough,
we'll be recording soon some bonus episodes for this month.
If you get a $7 one, maybe you get a Stargate episode one day. So.
Ooh.
That would be those two, not me.
Yeah.
Although maybe I'd watch a little bit just to see if I could be relevant in the conversation. But so thank you again to Josh for taking the time to hang out with us. We appreciate it, as I'm sure our community will let you know. So thank you for taking the time, and hopefully we'll get you on again. Maybe after we see some of the announcements in Next Gen, maybe we'll drag you out here again. So.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or I'll just randomly text you one night and say, "Hey, you free?"
I'll say, "Fuck you."
Do you have anything else that you want to say, Josh? Or?
I don't know. I mean, just I appreciate the outpouring of support and everything I got when everything went down. Didn't really. I got to talk about it on Band of Gamers a little bit, but I don't know. You know, there may be people here who never heard that episode or aren't, aware of that episode or anything like that.
You should go listen to it. It's a really good episip. So
it was fun.
It's a good show if you don't listen to a Band of Gamers. I'm not super into music, but Joel and I always mess his name up. But Startham. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think right now.
I'm just gonna leave you twisting. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I really did appreciate that. Because I was a little dumbfounded, and it was just good to hear all that coming out from everybody. And yeah, I'm still around. Not as much, obviously, anywhere, but yeah, got life going on. Life is good, so having fun. I'll be back.
He's been there, and
I'll say that now.
Yeah, he's been there, and he's been there for me. He was one of the first people that contacted me when he heard of my leaving as well. So, and Josh has always been there, and he's been a huge advocate. A little bit, he helped build DDG as well, just from a very quiet standpoint of he was there for certain things that we needed and feedback when needed. So there have been plenty of sounding boards and people that got vented to that helped build this podcast and content creation into what it slowly is becoming now. So he's a foundation piece as well as many others. It's not just Michael and myself.
But mostly.
Multiple people have had their hands in that, and my wife as well. She busted her ass the last couple of days with video. Michael helped with editing an interview that sounded like I recorded it in a tin can. So, and he did a great job. So I appreciate that. And everybody's like, teamwork makes the dream work is a corny thing to say, but as Josh has mentioned multiple times before, where life is good, life is good for us as well, I feel, and it's much less stressful. We're doing this on our own, and for those of you that think it was all sour grapes and things like that, and we were only in it for certain things, like, why would we stop? Why wouldn't we try to continue what we were doing if we were only in it for certain rewards? Mm-hmm. But that's about as deep as I'm going to go on that. So, all right, Michael, you got anything else?
No. Just I do plan to stream this week using the
Switch. Bullshit.
As long as this doc works and Dave does two-step authentication with me, I should be good.
Yeah. That's been fun, Josh. So he has half of the 2-steps authentication. I have the other half. Whenever he needs it, I'm not available. Whenever I need it, he's not available. So.
Fucking partnerships.
For the
Well
record,
planned.
and a fun side note, you'll get a kick out of this. Apparently, email servers have a limitation of how many emails you can send out at one time.
What the hell?
We got suspended for 24 hours.
Apparently, if you send out a large email as your first email on an account you make in G Suite, they assume you're spam and just suspend your shit.
Wow.
So,
then
lesson learned.
count.
So.
And then count the rejection emails from your suspension against your cap for the day.
Oh, that's fucked up.
We tried to make a step to make a step forward for Digital Days Gaming, and it got derailed for about 48 hours. But we got that step forward going.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, all right. I hope everyone has a great week. Please leave us feedback and keep moving forward. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.